Hey guys, Slim here. Today's video is going to be pretty much talking about the tower, what kind of things you're going to be looking for example, the buffs that you're going to be getting, and why you're going to want to be doing the tower. I'll start it with actually why you want to do the tower. The big thing for tower is actually to get silver. If you saw the other video where I talked specifically about silver, you'll know how useful it is for getting your shiny plus materials. That's pretty much the big focus, but you also get boosts and stuff for it, as well as to use it to get further in the tower. That silver you already know is important. That's definitely the big thing in tower. And the other thing that you're going to be looking for while you're doing tower is specifically the buffs to help you get further. For the tower, the floors start at 1 and they just keep going until you can't go any further. So if you just can't beat the boss in time, or if you die, or you just can't beat a certain enemy in time, that's going to be your limit on the tower at whatever given time. You can always try it again until you either decide to stop or just keep going forward. Every 5th floor on the tower is going to be a boss. 4 rooms of just fighting megas that they have on the map, and then 5th room is going to be a boss from one of the boss dungeons on the map. The bosses are pretty much the same as how you would fight them inside the regular world dungeons. The only difference is that once you beat them, you actually get a buff from the tower. 3 random buffs to choose from. You only get to pick one, so definitely keep in mind what you're going to be looking for. The important ones really are going to be whatever's the highest rarity ones that you get dropped. The important ones are going to be the boss damage buffs, specifically the tier 4 or tier 5 ones, and the general spell or weapon damage buffs, as well as the crits for those. Those are going to be the ones that help you get the furthest in, but if you don't have any options of those, just go for either whatever's the highest rarity, or if your options are, for example, just really low tier stuff, and then you have like a tier 4, tier 5 health bonus, just pick that just in case, because there's a very rare chance of it happening, but it can happen where the only difference from you being able to beat a boss is a small amount of health. That happened to me. For example, I was stuck on 129. I did it over and over and over again, and I took off one of my damage buffs just so I can put on the tier 5 health to have double health, and it made it so I could just barely beat the boss. So that helped me get a little bit further, which let me get a little more rewards towards the tower bonus. One of the great things about tower is actually not so much about tower itself, but just the auto farm feature. I actually have it here on screen as background gameplay that you can use the auto farm to fight the bosses, or to do the entire tower. And just like with the normal drops that things do, you can actually still get the tower buffs this way. They just come up in your inventory, and once you finish your auto farm or your auto fight, you can claim them and just start picking which ones that you want. It won't give you a random buff of the 3. It still lets you choose which of the 3 bonuses that you're gonna get. So whenever you get kicked out of the tower because you died or you just left, spawn back at the beginning of the map, and you come over here. If you see a chest that's open, the same thing actually goes for the defense mode. That's how you know that you have something to claim. So you just come up to it, click claim. After you hit claim, the button to the right will move over to the left, so you just keep clicking on the one spot until you get to however farther your rewards take you. Pretty much I had it on auto fight the whole time. I got to 129. You can actually see in here all the rewards that I got. Pretty standard. You can see I actually have 25 boosts to claim. So I'll give you a couple examples of what boosts that I will go for. Obviously here, Spell Master for sure. This gives a pretty good boost in your spell damage. That's a good one to have, especially if you have those really high damage spells. This here is a good example of, like, I don't really care about any of these bonuses too much because they're really low rarity. This 4%, like this 3 times damage is really good, but the 4% is just too low. The dodge, I never use dodge, so this is pretty much just a throwaway. It doesn't matter too much. I just clicked on the mega or the boss one because why not. This here's almost the same kind of situation. This is where you would pick just the highest rarity one, or even if this was a purple rarity here, or this one was a purple rarity for like the sword version of this, I would still choose the Mega Slayer because it's not too difficult to get a couple of these going, and they get to really high percentages for your bonus pretty quickly, and it's just a across the board kind of bonus. Unless these were flat damage ones like a purple or preferably a tier 5 orange for sword or boss or anything like that, I'd pick those, but for here I'm just gonna do the mega. The megas usually aren't your biggest issue. For the most part, it's going to be that boss itself because they have definitely a lot more health. Even though you have more time, the issue is usually their damage. Here's another throwaway. I'm just picking the highest rarity just because it doesn't really matter there. Same situation there. Boss is really good, but that's a really low rarity. Here's a good one to be mindful of. They're both the same rarity. I have none at all for either of them, and they do the same thing. I'm going to pick sword though, because the reason is spells usually only hit once and they have higher cooldowns. You're going to have this 7% proc more often on your weapons than you will on your so I'll pick that just in case I don't get a higher rarity and it fits in a good spot. This right here is the same kind of situation where it's kind of like what do I want to use, because I never use dodge ever, but I probably won't be using these either, so I'll just pick dodge. It's mostly a throwaway right there. So I'll show you one more thing for the tower in a second. Alright, so after I went through, collected all my buffs, this is what I ended up with. Tier 3 Weapon Master actually is 120%. Tier 5, I mean, I have it at level 3. I have a level 2 Tier 5 for spell. Only unfortunately got a level 1 for boss. I don't even have any Tier 4 for boss, fortunately. Ideally, what I wanted is to have this at like a Tier 3, or this at like a level 4, level 5. And a purple one, same thing, 4 or 5, because that would have given me over 200% combined. Which, even though I have this here 120%, if I would have had those two, I would have had 200% plus for both weapons and spells, on top of having 2 more slots that I can put these 2 in, or maybe just this and this here. But it is what it is. Also, this tier 5 at level 2. It increases the 10% chance stays the same no matter what level it is. That's what the different rarities are for. See this one here, 7%, and then 4% here, 1%. Only difference for leveling these up is that this multiplier changes, goes 3%, 5%, 7%, and then 9%. And I don't know what level 5 is. That's the highest that these spells can drop at, or they can level them up to. But that's pretty much where I stopped at, and I went from not being able to beat 129, or rather the 130 boss, being able to beat it. Unfortunately, this boss here has just a little too much damage, because whenever, after you get to a certain point in the tower, bosses start having different bonuses for them. And right now for this one, it's plus 100% damage, so the boss is hitting twice as hard as it normally would. And that definitely makes it extremely strong. I'd have to get very lucky on my bonuses here. Actually, you know, never mind. I'd have to get this activating every time. That makes it 50% cooldown, and I'd have to walk at like a perfect distance, maybe even putting on increased walk speed from like water mastery or something. That might be able to help me a little bit, but at least for now, I'll settle with how far I got, where I was getting this next upgrade. As I level up my stuff, you know, I'll get further, but that's pretty much it. The only other thing is that these resets that you can get, they will take me down 20, so I can get a couple more upgrades, a couple more boss drops from the weaker bosses to help me potentially get past 135. What I'll do for that is I'll wait till right before the season resets, which see there 7 days. Once this gets all the way up to 6, because every day you get an extra reset, these will clear out at the end of the season. You can just stack them up to 6, bring them down as far as you can up until 20, because if you do it anything under 20 you can still use it, but it brings you only down to 1, so you lose a little bit of value. So just don't reset to anything under 20, or if whatever floors you're at is less than 20. That'll just be so you can get extra bonuses to hopefully push further than what you can. So I can maybe do it if I get lucky, get a little more damage, and get this little bit extra here to 139 or so, because I probably won't be able to beat 140. But that'll be pretty much it for now. Check out some other videos to do for some of these other things. The defense is extremely simple, so that might be a combination with some other sort of video, maybe talking also about like the ranks and stuff. But if you guys have any recommendations for anything that you don't know about, or if you have questions on any of them, you can just leave it in the comments below, or if you go to my Discord server, which is linked in the description, you can just put it in the suggestions. The suggestions there is for the server and also for the channel. So that's pretty much it for the video, guys. I hope you guys have a great day and good luck on the grind.